Hi guys, this is Decimal Dust, and at long last bringing you the review of Destiny 2, or a brief review anyway, not a full review. I wouldn't say necessarily that I've played enough of the game to give it a full review. I haven't yet played any raids, I haven't completed the Nightfall, so this review is coming to you from what I would say is someone who is a casual gamer. I put in uh, probably anywhere from 2 to 6 or 7 hours a week into Destiny 2. So rather than this being a review of someone who puts in hours and hours and has looked at every secret and every little quest, I'm not that sort of person. So this is kind of, I guess, a more of a review for the casual gamers who you know take their time to get up to the max light level. They maybe struggle with the raids in terms of getting a crew to play it with. Um, Nightfall's probably okay. Strike's definitely okay because you can match make. Like I say, for us normal players who can't dedicate full time to this, it's probably like I say, more of a review for the average gamer. So anyway, in comparison to the first game, I'm going to kind of steer away from comparing it to the first game because the first game is done. Not everybody's played it. I played it throughout the full 3 years, on and off, and I played it a lot more heavily towards the end of the game. And to be fair, I love Destiny, and I think that one of the things that I love the most about this particular game, this new game, is the amount of effort that has gone into it in terms of the locations, in terms of the graphics, and just the general. I mean, some of the levels and some of the worlds that you visit and the amount of detail that's gone into the structures, the passageways, the kind of the feel. When you go in, one of the things I said before is what I love about Destiny is you go into those creepy passageways, those little caves, in this dark, and you're battling, and the lighting effects and explosions. In this game, the colours and the effects, and when you take down enemies and they explode, especially things like hydras and big bosses, it's brilliant, and it's definitely a marked step up from the first game. The amount of space, I suppose, can be quite confusing at times, but again, as with the first Destiny, once you get used to that, you're not going to have a problem, and fine with working your way around the environment. Sorry, I'm just kind of trying to talk and play at the same time. So, so in terms of the graphics, first of all, I would say that the graphics are, brilliant. When I first played the game, I must admit I thought that the textures and the some of the character models and the gun models looked a bit cartoony, but seems the more that I play the game, the more it seems to improve. And the graphics now, to be honest, are starting to look really spectacular. I mean, the amount of detail at Rock, it is, getting to the point where it's a living, breathing world, and it does look fantastic. I have to say, the lighting effects, when you kill enemies and the flashes at walls, and it does look spectacular. It's brilliant. Um, so that's graphics, and as you play the game, you don't need to tell me what your opinion is of the graphics. You either think this is brilliant or you don't. But I personally think, yeah, they've done a cracking job, and it feels like you're continuing from the first game. That's what I love about it as well. Is it's it's a great continuation of the end of the first game, and it feels like progress. Although I would say the graphics aren't necessarily huge step up from the first game. They're not. I think they just are. There's more. That's the thing. There's a lot more. There's a lot more in this game. More environments. I mean, look down here. Look how much stuff there is that they've got to get in the game. And it does look beautiful. It's more like a HDR type experience now. There's a lot more depth to it, I feel. So that's graphics covered. In terms of gameplay, in terms of how it feels, and what it brings in terms of, does it feel like a good shooter? Does it feel like they've carried on the accuracy of the first game? Yeah, definitely. And this is why I come back to Destiny time and time again, because okay, there's other great shooters out there. I'm not a Battlefield fan. Not of this one. I've been playing Battlefield for years and years and years, but I just couldn't, just didn't like the latest version. So anyway, I won't talk about that too much. But in terms of a shooter, it's accurate and it is really tight. The hit detection is spot on, and it feels good. All the weapons feel good. They feel chunky, and in terms of, again, continuation from the first game, it feels the same. It just feels familiar, and you can just get into it and you can just play, and it feels great. And then the Crucible as well. Again, played a little bit of Crucible, not too much, but it feels really good, real tight, and I like it. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun in the Crucible. And again, with this type of game, there's a lot going on. But it just, when you're shooting, my accuracy's not very good there. But when you're shooting enemies, it's just, you hit them in the head and it feels satisfying. You take down the enemies. Again, with the Minor Multi-Tool, it's a great weapon. So, you get popping off headshots and, feels spot on. So in terms of gameplay, in terms of how the game actually feels, absolutely spot on. I haven't noticed any bugs in particular. There was a lot of slowdown the other day when there was a public event going on, but there was, there was lots going on. People firing weapons, huge amounts of enemies, and I think there was about 6 or 7 people, in the environment as well, actual players. So, again, it was full on, and I've never seen slowdown in Destiny, but it did. There was a lot of slowdown, but maybe they'll bug fix that. Maybe they'll dial that out as we go along. But so far, like I say, it just everything just feels really tight. They've done a really cracking job, and considering that we are only a week in, and it feels this good, and there haven't been any, nasties. There's been no moments where I've gone, oh, what the hell's going on? And it's crashed and, bugged out, etc., etc. That's a real great achievement. In terms of the overall game, I don't know. It's kind of a bit weird. I'm a little bit undecided on this one. There's some things in this game that I think, really, was it really worth investing huge amounts of time to deliver these things, when you could be concentrating on other stuff? So, for instance, like all the skins. Now, great that you can customize, and I presume there's a lot of people that do want to customize their kit, and they want to make it, as varied and colour each piece, and change every single look, guns, etc., etc. But I don't know, it's weird. As you play the game more, like, now, for instance, you instead of bounties, you've got, the challenges, and you go to the planet and you do each challenge. Okay, fair enough. Same sort of thing. But in terms of when you're playing through the actual game itself, the story is fairly short. You've got the adventures that add to it, but the story itself is quite short. And as you play through it, there's no strikes. It's just sort of story mode, and the strikes, again, they're in the playlist, and I'm sure that as we play more, there's going to be more added, like added to the Crucible and things like that, more game modes, etc., etc. But I do think there's some stuff that's come at the expense of adding all these extra little kind of trinkety bits that we don't. I don't know, that I don't feel personally that I need from the game. Great, have shaders, and, I like the shaders in the first one. Collecting the Super Black, for instance, was good, because not everybody had it. But we've really gone, overboard now on the amount of shaders, and a lot of them are just, the uncommon ones, for instance, I'm just binning, and, it kind of seems like that has taken a lot of effort, where, the customization of the guns, for instance, now is a lot simpler. You know, you don't have to use Motes of Light to rank up the guns. They come already ranked up, and you just select your perks. But for instance, the Mida, you know, if you take a look here, probably getting killed in the background, but there's just one set of perks. So you've got increased stability. Okay, brilliant. Radar stays active. I love that. That's a particular favourite of mine, and you know, I have it on pretty much all the time anyway. Hard caliber rounds, you know, but there's no, you can't, for instance, substitute the stability for range. You can't swap out the radar for something else. And there's quite a lot of guns that are similar to that as well, with just one set of perks. So again, the Graviton Lance, you know, great gun, but you know, why not let me customize it a little bit to my choice? And there might be a lot of people that say, well, it's an exotic and it comes as it is and it levels the playing field, etc., etc. But I quite like, you know, on scout rifles in particular, I quite like to substitute range for stability, or the other way around. It, you know, it depends. Depends how you want to play. But you know, again, I just feel that, you know, it's almost like there's some things that have been cut back on for the sake of making it kind of almost like a fully customizable, you know, colours and yeah, you know where I'm going with this. It's I just think there's been some cutbacks, and again, you know, at the moment, I think there is a certain amount of repetitiveness once you get towards the end game. I mean, some people are very fortunate enough to have a raid team, for instance, you know, or a really solid team so that they can hit the nightfall with, and you know, they play consistently. I personally play with a group of guys that are on when they're on, and that certainly makes doing the raid difficult. And at the moment, I'd probably say that a lot of the time we're grinding out strikes, and we're grinding out, trying to grind out heroic events, and we're doing the challenges, you know, to try and get our gear up. But quite often, you know, you do find that you play for quite a long time, and you get, you know, you get blues, you get purples, but they aren't really increasing your gear score, your score that you know, you like that much, or your power that much. So I don't know. It kind of seems like, you know, I think the game's going to be brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I think, you know, give it a couple of years, 1 year, 2 year as this great game progresses, it is going to be a game that I'm going to play a lot. And to be fair, I don't really play anything other than Destiny, simply because I can't really get on that much. And there's no other games really that take my fancy at the moment, to be fair. But you know, here we are. And that's kind of like my initial take on the game. You know, love it or hate it. That's my opinion. And you know, any reviews that I'm going to do on the game are going to be my, you know, my genuine opinion. I'm not going to fluff it up in any shape or form at all. But so far, I must admit, I am loving it. It is brilliant, and it has got me hooked. Every opportunity that I'm getting, I am jumping into Destiny and you know, exploring the secret areas. And I've only really scratched the surface. There's going to be some people that you're going to listen to reviews, and they've done it all. They've done the raid, and they've done the Nightfall, and they've done the X and the Y and the Z. You know, I'm trying to represent people that just don't have the capacity, you know, to do it, to play it that much. And as I do more videos, you know, again, a lot of them are probably people will watch and go, oh, we've seen that, you know, we've done that. But this will be more of a, you know, look, I'm your average gamer, and this is my perspective on how these things are being done and how difficult they were, and, you know, etc., etc. So I hope you appreciate that, and I hope, you know, I get some subscribers and some likes from doing these videos. It is something that I enjoy. I wish I could dedicate more time to it, but that's not, you know, that's not really at the end of the day the way it is. But we'll see how it goes, and you know, like I say, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit like and subscribe, really appreciate it, as I'm going to try and grow this channel along the way. And we'll see you guys soon, and just leave you with a bit of gameplay for the few minutes that I'm going to stay on for. Alright, take it easy. Bye bye.